Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky sharing a positive message this morning after he held new talks with Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. This meeting comes as 3 people died in an explosion in Moscow yesterday, following the death of a top Russian general in the very same area. Let's bring in Fox News contributor Dan Hoffman. He is also the former CIA station chief in Moscow. When I saw the news about the explosion, it made me immediately believe that this was going to delay, or maybe there were people trying to maybe throw a little wrench into things to prevent more advancement in the talks. Was that your instinct as well?
Actually, no. I think Ukraine is pursuing peace talks in really good faith. Keep in mind that Russia launched another barrage of drone attacks and missile attacks on Christmas Eve. So the war carries on. It's Putin's forever war that has decimated Russia's economy and resulted in over 1 million Russian casualties. The Ukrainians are defending themselves, and to the extent that they're launching these sorts of attacks on Russian soil, they're targeting Russian military leadership that is prosecuting this barbaric war on Ukraine. And that's with an eye towards stopping it. I don't know that there's a chance for peace regardless, but Ukraine has entered into these negotiations with an eye towards trying to solve this crisis. But Vladimir Putin has never, ever indicated an interest in a ceasefire or getting to a peace deal.
And that's really the point I was making. I don't think there is a strong inclination from the Kremlin to actually make this happen, despite the fact that if you look at the 20-point peace plan, and there's been some movement, I understand, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, maybe demilitarizing a swath of land to the east. But I imagine that Russia is not all that interested in that, at least not yet. Is that your understanding, Dan?
Yeah, it is. You're right. There was discussion as part of that 20-point peace plan where we would see a demilitarized zone in the Donbass that would result in Ukraine withdrawing from some of the territory in Donetsk, which Russia has not captured yet. There would have to be a referendum there, according to President Zelensky, for the Ukrainians who live in that area to agree to that demilitarized zone. But again, unfortunately, Russia has put forth no concrete proposals of their own. They have simply carried on this brutal war. And the question for the Trump administration is whether we need to apply additional leverage. We've offered Putin all sorts of ways out and economic incentives, but that doesn't seem to be doing the trick. Putin will want to make it appear as though he's carrying on negotiations. He wants to ensure that our sanctions that are ready to go, that the Senate has approved of and are sitting on the president's desk, are not applied. The Trump administration has sanctioned Rosneft and Lukoil, which is good, but there are more sanctions in the waiting, and it remains to be seen whether President Trump will avail himself of that option.
I think it's fair to say that the Trump administration is slowly constricting what Russia can do with respect to this particular conflict, and that seems to be effective, especially from the economic perspective. Very quickly, you talked about the fact that the Russian economy has suffered great, I mean, to say nothing of the obvious slaughter of their people, but their economy has really been trashed by this war. And now when you add to the fact that China's economy is not doing so great, there's increased pressure on Venezuela again, what happened with Iran's nuclear program. A lot of their partners around the globe aren't exactly well positioned to help.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. It's a slow burn on Russia's economy. The question is whether we want to give Ukraine additional military support. Europe is doing that, but there may be more that the United States could do as well.
All right. In the next, say, 90 days, does this thing get done, in your opinion?
I don't see any indication that it's going to get done. I think Director CIA Ratcliffe, I'm sure he's got his Russia analysts focused on this and delivering the president the intelligence reporting that the president needs to make the most educated decisions about how to proceed in these negotiations. But I'm sorry to say that in spite of the laudable efforts on the part of the Trump administration, make no mistake, President Trump cares a lot more about the soldiers fighting and dying in that region than Vladimir Putin does. But in spite of all that, I just don't think that Russia wants to make a deal. Vladimir Putin has made it clear he wants to overthrow the democratically elected government of Ukraine, and anything short of that, I think, is something that he will not allow for his war machine really to stop against Ukraine. I just don't see it happening, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's terribly sad. I understand he's trying to take bite after bite after bite of all those former Soviet satellite countries and maybe recreate this Soviet Union. That's not going to happen, but it's not going to stop him from trying and spending a lot of money, treasure, and lives to affect that change, it looks like to me. Dan Hoffman, always a pleasure. We appreciate your knowledge, and Merry Christmas.
Happy Christmas.